Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. I'm Annie, and today we're going to continue the exploration of the history behind the training genre. In part 1, we looked at over 4,000 years of history starting around the 24th century BCE, taking us all the way to the beginning of the Exospheric Revolution in the later half of the 20th century. Part 2 took a look at the development and evolution of the training genre in video games and left us with a cliffhanger in the beginning of 2009. This video will touch on some really sensitive topics about real-life incidents and ongoing issues. This isn't me taking a position one way or another, just trying to talk about how things have unfolded. I am pretty sure that where we're going to end up at the end of this video is not where most people would expect. So consider yourself warned, and welcome to the History of the Trainer Genre, Part 3. On February 12, 2009, the Irish newspaper The Belfast Telegraph reported that Amazon was selling the training game Replay. For most of the world, this was the first introduction to the idea that there were explicitly sexual video games. I mean, unless you believe the media's claims about 2007's Mass Effect's PG-13 sex scenes being explicit, or 2004's Hot Coffee mod for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The firestorm that started with a single physical copy of a video game persisted well into 2010. The Japanese Ethics Organization of Computer Software, EOCS, which oversees and rates adult content in video games, briefly banned the sale of the game. But in Japan, then and now, it is a commonly held belief that access to adult content material reduces real-life sexual violence. Here's a quote from Kagami Hiroyuki, author of the Adult Computer Game Scenario Bible from 2009. "There is no other country where pornography is as developed as Japan. In the entire world, Japan is where eroticism developed most. From this, I think that this country has developed mechanisms to curb social unrest and stabilize society. As a porn novelist, I think that this should make us proud rather than ashamed. I surmise that the low rate of rape in Japan is due to Japan's rich culture of pornography." Current data does support this position. Increased access to adult content online does correlate with a massive drop in real-life sexual violence. At the same time, the majority of researchers insist that sexually violent imagery increases the likelihood of real-life violence, even if no real-life increases have ever been documented in any population. Regardless of which you wish to believe, either the hard data or the curated research, both positions support the idea that our behavior is being modified by the content we consume. That we are being trained by the very trainer games that we are playing. Around the same time that this is occurring, core trainer concepts are being included in more and more games. In the Knight of the Old Republic series, you have the ability to train many of your companions into light side or dark side paths. Just like RPG leveling mechanics were adopted into everything from shooters to farming, we start to see training mechanics in everything from, well, shooters to farming. I mean, look at all the games that now have stats to grow and improve, affection to earn, and opinions to shape. The Replay controversy effectively introduced a huge number of people to the idea of adult content games. These people grew up, and with the creation of Patreon, we saw a new viable path for indie game development, followed by an explosion of new content creators in 2016. In addition to the established producers of Japanese games translated into English like Jast and Manga Gamer. Akbar's Princess Trainer and Witch Trainer titles were many of the Western adult gaming community's first introduction to adult content games. There has never been a time where more people have had access to so many different game flavors, and the numbers continue to grow. Would our modern renaissance of adult content games have happened without the Streisand effect that came with the Replay controversy? Did the Belfast Telegraph know that they were going to help spread adult gaming across the world with their completely fair and objective piece about a copy of a game that has already been forgotten by the Japanese market? It definitely helped spread the idea as well as put us on the slow and tedious journey to acceptability that we are still currently on. I mean, the development team of Replay, Illusion, just set new sales records on Steam in 2020 with Koikatsu Party. Maybe they should send over a nice gift basket to the Belfast Telegraph to show their appreciation. Now, I could have ended this video on a high note and just talked about all the great things that we have to look forward to. However, something else has also been going on over the past decade. As more and more games shifted to online and persistent play, there was an increasing motivation to modify player behavior to be more socially compliant while gaming, as well as engaging a player to play more often at consistent intervals. How can we punish the players for cheating, griefing, or espousing the wrong social, cultural, and political positions and get them to behave, and more importantly, consume our products like we want? Never mind that all the companies doing this, like Ubisoft, Activision, and EA, were raping, harassing, and abusing their employees at the same time that they were trying to punish us for having the wrong opinions. Was there a way to shape player behavior to earn more money and get them to cause less trouble at the same time? This was a very, very interesting idea to the Chinese social media company Tencent. Tencent pivoted hard into gaming, buying Riot Games in 2011 and acquiring large holdings in Epic Games in 2012 and Activision in 2013, among others, and in the process became the largest game company in the world. Now they had all of this behavior modification data which they used to completely dominate the market in China, and they even eventually rolled out a community score for each of their Chinese gamers, rewarding socially acceptable good behavior like proper in-game play and frequent logins, and punishing bad behavior like cheating. At the same time, the Chinese government was also very interested in the knowledge, technology, and data that Western game companies had learned from micro-rewards and persistent and sustained behavior modification in gaming. Could the gamification of real-life decisions help make a better world? Can rewarding people for donating blood, helping the poor, and publicly supporting the government, while also punishing jaywalkers, protesters, and dirty gamers, make China a better China? Fortunately for them, Tencent was legally obligated to share everything that they had extracted from the minds of great humanitarians like Bobby Kotick. Thus was born the Chinese social score, the greatest trainer experiment in history. The current social score in China would not exist without the help and hard work of Bobby and other Western game company executives' experimentation on us, their player base. Just as we covered in part 1, the purpose of the training genre is about molding or modifying an individual or group's behavior and core identity. Now we'll see what happens while China tries to enact what is effectively the largest build of The Sims ever in real life and in real time on its citizens. Over the last 4,500 years, we have seen the scope of the training genre start with kings and rulers, move to the educated elite with the printing press, and then spread to every single person through movies, television, and universal literacy. Now, through gaming and new technological improvements, governments and corporations have found increasingly optimal ways to encourage us to comply with the society that they want to see. So next time you check into a mobile game, use your favorite fast foods reward system, or unlock an achievement, take a moment to realize that you are already experiencing humanity's next phase of the training genre. Until next time, no shaming, just gaming. Thank you to everyone in the community for your continued support. I love video games, and to be able to talk about them like this is such an amazing experience for me. Thanks to all the patrons who helped make this happen, and to my best girl tier of Apple Orange, Bob Sellers, 3XXX, Trude Perkins, and Tyler Hunter. You all rock.